In the heart of a small town called Woods Creek, nestled between rolling hills and meandering streams, lived a young girl named Emily. Raised in a modest home by her parents, who worked tirelessly to make ends meet, Emily's childhood was marked by simplicity, love, and the bonds of a close-knit community. The small town where the sun painted golden hues on the meadows and the air carried the sweet scent of wildflowers was where Emily's childhood unfolded, in a world of simplicity and warmth. Her family's home, a modest cottage with a white picket fence, stood as a testament to the love that filled its walls. Emily's morning began with the comforting clatter of pans in the kitchen as her mother prepared breakfast. "Rise and shine, Emily, the world awaits," her mother would say, her voice a soothing melody that echoed through the cosy cottage. Emily's days were painted with the colours of carefree innocence. Sometimes she would wake up to the sound of birdsong, the aroma of breakfast wafting through the air. Her parents, hard-working and devoted, would greet her with smiles that illuminated the small kitchen. Though they faced financial struggles, the abundance of love in their home overshadowed any material limitations. The town itself was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other. As Emily ventured into the town streets, the familiar faces greeted her with smiles and words of encouragement. The townsfolk embraced her like a member of a big, extended family. Old Mr. Johnson, who tended his garden every morning, would tip his hat and say, "Another day of adventures, Emily." Emily's afternoons were spent exploring the rolling hills that surrounded the town, her laughter echoing through the meadows as she played with other children. Sarah, Emily's childhood friend, would exclaim, "Race you to the creek," as they ran through the meadows, their laughter echoing in the open air. The local creek became a meeting point for summer adventures, and the woods held secrets waiting to be discovered. Evenings brought a sense of tranquility. The sun would set behind the distant hills, casting a warm glow on the streets lined with quaint houses. Dinner was a family affair, and stories were shared around the dinner table. Her father, with a twinkle in his eyes, would share tales from the town's history. "We're a part of something special here, Emily," he would say, a sense of pride in his voice. Emily's parents, despite their struggles, made sure that their home was a haven of comfort and security. As a child, Emily's days were spent playing in the fields and exploring the nearby woods with the other kids from the town. Her family may have been poor, but their home was rich with laughter, warmth, and the comfort of unconditional love. Her parents, despite the challenges they faced, instilled in her the values of resilience and kindness. As Emily grew older, the quaint charm of the small town began to wear thin, and a restlessness stirred within her. Yearning for a different life, she set her sights on the bustling city, believing it held the promise of opportunities and a brighter future. Little did she know that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges that would test the strength she had inherited from her humble upbringing. Emily found herself in a challenging situation, as she was the only child responsible for taking care of her aging parents. As time went on, their ability to work and earn a living diminished, making it increasingly difficult for the family to make ends meet. Faced with this daunting reality, Emily made a brave decision. She would move to the city to seek better job opportunities and earn a higher income to support her parents. Leaving behind the comfort and familiarity of her hometown, Emily embarked on a new chapter in her life. The city was bustling with opportunities, but it also presented its own set of challenges. With determination in her heart, she tirelessly searched for employment, submitting countless job applications and attending numerous interviews. After weeks of diligent effort, Emily finally secured a job in a reputable company. The position came with a promising salary and growth potential, providing her with the financial stability she desperately sought for her family. Grateful for this opportunity, Emily recognized the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. One evening, as she navigated the crowded streets on her way home, Emily whispered to herself, "I never imagined the city would be this demanding. But for Mum and Dad, I'll keep going. They deserve a comfortable life after all they've done for me." The weight of responsibility hung heavy on her shoulders, and in a phone call to her parents, she reassured them. "I miss you both every day, but we're building a better future together. I promise to take care of you just like you've taken care of me." Living in the city, Emily faced the harsh realities of urban life. The fast-paced environment, the long hours at work, and the distance from her parents took a toll on her both physically and emotionally. However, she remained resolute in her mission to support her family and provide them with a comfortable life. Balancing her demanding job with the needs of her parents became a delicate juggling act. Emily worked tirelessly, often sacrificing her time and desires to ensure her parents' well-being. She managed their medical appointments, ensured they had proper care, and handled their financial obligations with unwavering dedication. Despite the challenges, Emily's determination and love for her parents never wavered. She found solace in knowing that her sacrifices were making a difference in their lives. Each paycheck she received was a small victory, a step closer to easing the burden her parents carried. Over time, Emily's hard work and dedication began to bear fruit. With the increased income, she was able to provide her parents with better health care, comfortable living conditions, and a sense of security. The stress and worry that had once overshadowed their lives gradually dissipated, replaced by a newfound peace of mind. Emily's journey was not without its share of sacrifices and hardships, but she never lost sight of her purpose: to be the pillar of strength for her family. Her unwavering determination and selflessness inspired those around her, serving as a reminder of the power of love and sacrifice. As the years went by, Emily's parents grew older and more fragile. However, they found solace in the knowledge that their daughter had given them a life they could only have dreamed of. Their hearts overflowed with gratitude for Emily's unwavering love, and they cherished every moment spent together as a family. Amidst the chaos of the city, Emily's heart longed for the simplicity and support she had known in her small town. It was during these moments of vulnerability that she found solace in the memories of her childhood, the laughter of her family. The comforting smell of home-cooked meals and the sense of belonging seemed like distant echoes. However, little did she know that an encounter with a boy from her town would turn her life upside down. In the city, Emily met a boy from her hometown named Jake. He too had ventured out seeking a different life. Their shared roots created an instant connection, and in each other, they found a familiar refuge in the vastness of the city. Fate brought her face to face with Jake, a familiar face from her small hometown, in the most unexpected of places. Their first encounter was like a scene from a reunion. Emily, surprised and delighted, exclaimed, "Jake, is that really you?" The familiarity in Jake's eyes mirrored her own, and a smile broke across his face. "Emily, I never thought I'd found someone from back home in this vast city. Oh, it's a crazy coincidence." As their paths crossed more frequently, Emily and Jake found solace in each other's company. They spent time reminiscing about the simplicity of their hometown, sharing stories that transcended the noise of the city. In the quiet corners of bustling cafes, their friendship deepened, becoming a sanctuary amidst the chaos. As their friendship deepened, so did their feelings for one another. One evening, as they strolled through a city park, Jake looked at Emily with a sincerity that made her heart flutter. "You know, Emily, meeting you again feels like finding a piece of home in the middle of all this chaos. It's like the universe conspired to bring us together." Emily, feeling a warmth she hadn't known in the city's whirlwind, smiled. "It does feel that way, doesn't it? Sometimes I miss the simplicity of our hometown. But having you here makes everything seem a little more familiar." The connection grew stronger with each passing day, and as the seasons changed, so did their feelings for one another. In a quiet moment overlooking the city skyline, Jake confessed. "Oh, Emily, I can't deny it anymore. You mean a lot to me. More than I thought possible." Caught in the city's enchanting lights, Emily met Jake's gaze. "Jake, I feel it too. There's something about you that grounds me in this chaotic place. Maybe it's the shared memories or the way you have made this big city feel a little smaller." Their love story unfolded against the backdrop of the city's vibrant energy. They navigated its challenges hand in hand, finding strength in each other's presence. In a moment of vulnerability, Emily admitted, "The city can be overwhelming, but with you it's a little less daunting. I never thought I'd find love in this vast maze." Jake, with a reassuring smile, replied, "Life is unpredictable, Emily. Maybe we were meant to find each other again in the most unexpected of places. Let's make our own story in the city, together." However, this took an unexpected turn when Emily discovered she was pregnant. She believed Jake, with their shared history, would stand by her side. However, the truth unfolded in a way that she never anticipated. Little did she know that his return would bring betrayal and heartbreak. One evening, as the sun dipped below the city skyline, Emily confronted Jake with the news that would change both of their lives forever. "Jake, we're going to have a child. I never thought our journey would lead us here, but we have to face it together." Emily spoke, her voice a mix of vulnerability and determination. Faced with the daunting reality of parenthood in an unfamiliar and unforgiving city, Jake's initial commitment wavered. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders, and the dreams they had envisioned together began to crumble. Jake, overwhelmed by the sudden weight of fatherhood, stammered, "Emily, I didn't expect this. I had plans and dreams. I can't handle this right now. I need time to think things out." His words hung heavy in the air, leaving Emily with a sense of abandonment that echoed the struggles of her journey. The once charming Jake seemed distant and detached. As Emily's pregnancy progressed, so did Jake's reluctance to take responsibility. The financial pressures of the city had taken a toll on him, and the prospect of fatherhood felt like an unbearable burden. Slowly, he began distancing himself from Emily, leaving her feeling abandoned and betrayed. Before meeting Emily, Jake was close to financial ruin, struggling to make ends meet and facing the weight of his failures. Jake's desperation drove him to concoct a sinister plan to escape his troubles. After an encounter with Emily, a girl from his hometown, he decided to reach out to her. Knowing Emily's caring and trusting nature, Jake saw an opportunity to exploit her vulnerability. As he grappled with mounting debts and a sense of hopelessness, he recognized that Emily's hard-earned savings could serve as a lifeline for his escape. Feeling remorse and vulnerability, Jake strategically played his part. He became the wounded soul burdened by the city's relentless pressures, drawing Emily into a web of false intimacy. With calculated charm, he created a facade of dependence, subtly hinting at the financial struggles that loomed over him. In moments of shared vulnerability, Jake strategically dropped hints about his mounting debts and the looming threat of eviction. "Oh, Emily, I never expected the city to be this harsh. I'm drowning in bills, and I don't know how to get out of this mess," he confided, his eyes portraying a mixture of despair and helplessness. Seizing the opportune moment, Jake planted the seed of a shared future. "Emily, we can build a life together, but I need a little help to get back on my feet. I've been thinking about our future, and I want to be secure for both of us," he murmured, a deceptive glint in his eyes. Unaware of Jake's ulterior motives, Emily, still holding on to the hope of a shared life, willingly opened her heart, and more dangerously, her purse. She started pooling her hard-earned money, believing it was an investment in their collective future. Jake's scheme unfolded as he subtly manipulated Emily into entrusting him with control over their finances. He began by suggesting that he take charge of budgeting and managing their expenses, exploiting the trust she had placed in him. As Emily worked tirelessly to provide for their shared dreams, Jake siphoned off funds bit by bit, creating a financial escape route for himself. One day, as Emily went to work, she returned to find their apartment empty. Panic gripped her as she discovered that Jake had not only left, but had also taken all her hard-earned money she had saved for their future. His farewell note was a cold and heartless declaration. "I can't handle this. Goodbye." Emily felt a mix of anguish and disbelief. The person she trusted the most had vanished, leaving her alone and vulnerable. Unbeknownst to Emily, Jake's intentions were darker than she could have imagined. Struggling in a city and facing financial ruin, he saw Emily as the perfect target to escape his troubles. In a chilling phone call, he feigned remorse, saying, "Emily, I'm sorry for leaving like this. I thought it would be better for both of us. I need the money to start over. You'll understand, won't you?" His words were a cruel twist of the knife as Emily realized she had become a pawn in Jake's desperate bid for a clean slate. Broken and betrayed, Emily stood in the empty apartment that once held the promise of a shared future. Through tears, she whispered to herself, "I never saw it coming. How could he do this to us?" The echoes of her hometown simplicity felt like a distant memory, replaced by the harsh reality of the city's unforgiving nature. As the days passed, Jake's presence faded from Emily's life, leaving her to navigate the challenges of pregnancy alone. In her moments of solitude, she clung to the strength instilled in her by her childhood, determined to provide her child with the love and resilience she had known back in the small town. Emily's journey continued, marked by the echoes of her past and the weight of an uncertain future. In her solitude, she found the strength to face the struggles ahead, drawing on the lessons of her humble beginnings and the unconditional love that had shaped her into the woman she was meant to be. Jake's scheme left Emily in a state of shock and betrayal, a victim of calculated manipulation. As she discovered the extent of his deception, the echoes of her hometown's simplicity seemed like a distant memory, drowned out by the harsh cacophony of the city's heartless realities. However, Emily found herself grappling with the harsh realities of life. The initial excitement gave way to struggles in finding stable employment and adapting to the fast-paced urban lifestyle. Despite her best efforts, she couldn't escape the financial hardships that loomed over her. One chilly evening, as the city lights illuminated the streets, Emily sat on a bench with a heavy heart. As Emily sat on the cold bench, her hands instinctively cradling her growing belly, she couldn't escape the weight of her worries. Lost in thought, she muttered softly to herself, "What have I gotten myself into? The city is like a maze. I thought I was making a better life for us, but now—" Her swollen belly was a constant reminder of the life growing inside her. The once vibrant glow on her face had dimmed, replaced by the worry lines that etched her forehead. Robert, a homeless man with a weathered face and kind eyes, noticed Emily's distress. It was in this moment of solitude that Robert, the homeless man with a heart full of humour, approached her with a twinkle in his eyes.
"Hey there, young lady. Why the long face? The city's a tough place, but a smile can make it a bit more bearable,"
Robert exclaimed, his voice carrying the light-hearted tone that had become his trademark. Emily hesitated at first, wary of the unpredictable nature of the city, so Emily managed a small smile, appreciating the effort to brighten her mood. "It's just been a rough day, you know. Life took an unexpected turn and I feel lost," she confided, her voice tinged with vulnerability. Seizing the opportunity to share a joke, Robert replied,
Life's a roller coaster, isn't it? Ups, downs, twists and turns. But you know what they say about roller coasters? They're more fun when you throw your hands up and scream."
Emily chuckled, grateful for the attempt to bring some levity to her heavy heart. "You've got a point, Robert. Sometimes you just have to ride the waves and hope for smoother seas." As they continued to talk, Robert sensed there was more beneath the surface of Emily's troubles. Emily was sceptical about Robert, but as he shared snippets of his struggles and the strength he found within them, she began to open up. With genuine concern, he asked,
"What's really on your mind, young lady? Sometimes a good joke can only do so much. I'm all ears, and trust me, I've heard a lot of stories on these streets."
Opening up to this unexpected confidant, Emily shared the pain and betrayal she had experienced with Jake. Her voice trembled with a mix of frustration and sadness. "He took everything, Robert. My money, my trust, and left me alone. I thought we had something real." Robert, despite his carefree exterior, revealed a depth of empathy in his eyes.
"Love can be a tricky thing, Emily. But you know what? You're not alone. The city might be vast, but we're all navigating these streets in our way, and Sometimes a shared burden feels a bit lighter.
At that moment, a genuine connection formed between Emily and Robert. He, the homeless man who had become a fixture of the city's streets, became an unexpected pillar of support for Emily, the woman who had experienced the harsh realities of urban life. With a thoughtful expression, Robert shared a piece of his own story.
Life hasn't been kind to me either, but humour keeps me going. It's a powerful thing, laughter. It's a reminder that no matter what, there's always room for joy.
As they sat on that city bench, surrounded by the ebb and flow of urban life, Emily felt a glimmer of warmth in Robert's words. Amid her struggles, the homeless man with a heart full of humour had become a beacon of understanding and shared humanity. Together they navigated the complexities of life, one shared moment and joke at a time. Clad in weathered clothes and carrying a bag of belongings, Robert navigated the urban landscape with a mischievous sparkle in his eyes and a heart full of humour. Robert had become a fixture of the city's streets, known by all who crossed his path. Despite the hardships he faced, he wore a perpetual grin and approached life with the heart of a child. His infectious laughter echoed through the alleyways, a beacon of joy amid urban chaos. Every day, Robert wandered through the city, his steps guided by a unique knowledge of its every nook and cranny. He knew the best spots to catch a glimpse of a sunset between towering buildings, the hidden shortcuts that bypassed crowded intersections, and the quiet corners where one could find a moment of solace amidst the chaos. His interaction with the city's residents were equally colourful, whether it was a businessman rushing into a meeting or a street vendor tending to their stall. Robert had a way of charming everyone with his playful banter.
"Hey there, my friend, you look like you could use a joke to lighten the load," he'd quip, his eyes twinkling with mischief.
One day, as Robert crossed paths with a stressed-out office worker, he broke into a wide grin.
"Why did the bicycle fall over?" "Because it was too tired," he chuckled,
leaving the harried commuter shaking their head with a smile. His presence had become a source of comfort for those who had grown accustomed to the daily grind. The local shopkeepers knew him by name, and the kids in the park eagerly awaited his arrival for an impromptu stand-up routine.
"You see that building over there?" He'd point, his eyes widening theatrically. "I once tried to count all the windows, but I got too tired. Now I just call it the Lots of Windows building."
Robert's humour was not just about jokes, it was a form of connection. In a city where anonymity often prevailed, he made people feel seen and heard.
"Laughter is the best medicine, my friends, and luckily for you, I'm the city's finest doctor of joy,"
he proclaimed, his arms spread wide in theatrical fashion. Robert's journey into homelessness was marked by a series of unforeseen events, a sequence of circumstances that led him to navigate the streets of the bustling city with nothing but a bag of belongings and a resilient spirit. Once, Robert had been an ordinary man, living a life removed from the cold, unforgiving streets. He had a job, a modest apartment, and the dreams like anyone else. However, life had its way of unravelling, and for Robert, the turning point came when he lost his job due to unforeseen economic downturns. As the city's economy fluctuated, businesses closed their doors and employees faced the harsh realities of unemployment. Robert, like many others, found himself on the wrong side of circumstances. Bills piled up, savings dwindled, and the stability he had taken for granted slipped through his fingers. With each passing day of job searching yielding no results, Robert's sense of desperation grew. He couldn't afford the rent for his apartment, and the support network that had once surrounded him began to fracture. Friends and family had their struggles, and the safety net that might have caught him in better times had unravelled. Facing the inevitability of homelessness, Robert made the difficult decision to leave his apartment before eviction forced him out. Carrying the weight of uncertainty, he stepped onto the city streets armed with little more than a backpack and a determination to survive. Life on the streets was a harsh adjustment for Robert. He sought refuge in shelters and soup kitchens, facing the challenges of securing food and shelter each day. Yet amidst the struggles, he clung to his humour and childlike optimism. His ability to find joy in the simplest of things became a survival mechanism, a way to endure the hardships that life had thrust upon him. As Robert navigated the city streets, his charismatic personality and ability to make people laugh became his means of connection. He would share his jokes and stories not just to entertain, but also to forge connections with those who passed him by. In the anonymity of the city, he found a way to make himself seen and heard, if only for a moment. While the circumstances that led Robert to homelessness were beyond his control, his resilient spirit and unwavering sense of humour became his tools for survival. The city with its towering buildings and bustling streets became both his stage and his refuge, as he embraced the unexpected role of the homeless man with the heart of a child, spreading laughter and joy amidst the challenges of urban life. However, beneath the playful facade, Robert carried his share of struggles. As the city slept, he found solace in the quiet corners, his laughter occasionally giving way to a wistful gaze at the night sky. Yet with the dawn of each new day, he emerged again, ready to sprinkle the city with his unique brand of mirth. Robert, the homeless man with the heart of a child, became a testament to the transformative power of laughter in the most unexpected places. His mischievous charm left an indelible mark on the city, reminding everyone that amidst the concrete and steel, a simple laugh could bridge the gaps and create moments of shared humanity. With each passing moment, the unlikely pair formed a connection. Emily shared her dreams, and Robert in turn shared his wisdom gained from the streets. Despite having nothing to offer but his companionship and jokes, Robert became a source of solace for Emily in her loneliness. As days turned into weeks, Emily's financial situation worsened. She found herself penniless, unable to afford the basics, let alone a ticket back home. It was a moment of despair, and Emily felt the weight of the city pressing down on her. Despite Robert's challenges and meagre possessions, he noticed the sadness that clouded her eyes. With genuine concern, he sat down beside her and broke the silence.
"Emily, my friend, I may not have much, but I can't ignore the storm brewing in your eyes. The city can be a tough place, especially when it feels like it's pushing you to the edge."
Robert spoke with a sincerity that cut through the noise of the urban chaos. Emily, fighting back tears, nodded appreciatively. I never imagined it would be this hard. I've hit rock bottom, Robert. I don't even have enough for a ticket back home," she confessed, her voice tinged with defeat. At that moment, Robert, with his meagre belongings held close, reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled dollar bill. With a warm smile, he extended it towards Emily.
"You need this more than I do, Emily. Consider it a small loan from a friend who believes in you," he said, his eyes reflecting a glimmer of hope.
Touched by his selflessness, Emily hesitated before accepting the gift. "Robert, I can't take your last dollar." "You need it more than I do," she protested, her sense of gratitude mingled with a concern for his well-being. Robert chuckled, a playful glint in his eyes.
"Now, don't you worry, Emily. I've weathered many storms on these streets. This dollar might not buy me a mansion, but it can sure bring a smile to someone who needs it. Consider it an investment in your journey."
With a mixture of emotions, Emily accepted the dollar, holding it as a symbol of unexpected kindness. "I don't know how to thank you, Robert. Once I'm back on my feet, I promise I'll repay you," she pledged, her voice filled with determination. As the days passed, Emily clung to that dollar, not just as a monetary gift, but as a beacon of hope in the city's relentless tumult. Robert's act of kindness became a guiding light, reminding her that even in the concrete jungle, compassion could be found in the most unexpected places. In a moment of shared understanding, Robert spoke.
"Emily, life's a journey filled with twists and turns. We all stumble, but it's the helping hands that make a climb a bit easier. You'll find your way, my friend, and when you do, just pay it forward."
With those words echoing in her heart, Emily embarked on the challenging path ahead, carrying not just Robert's last dollar, but also the warmth of a selfless gesture that had rekindled a flicker of hope in the darkest corners of the city. As Emily disappeared into the night, Robert returned to his makeshift shelter, wondering if he had made the right choice. Sleep did not come easily that night, but little did he know that the ripple effect of his selfless act would change his life in ways he couldn't have imagined. With Robert's last dollar clasped tightly in her hand, Emily embarked on a journey that would take her back home. The city's relentless grip had tested her resilience, but the flicker of hope, ignited by Robert's act of kindness, fueled her determination. After carefully budgeting every penny and with a humble backpack in tow, Emily navigated the challenges of finding affordable transportation. The bustling city, once a formidable adversary, became a backdrop for her journey to reclaim the warmth and support she had left behind. As she approached the bus station with a mix of anticipation and nerves, Emily couldn't help but feel the weight of Robert's gesture. With a deep breath, she approached the ticket counter and, with Robert's last dollar in hand, purchased a one-way ticket to her hometown. The bus ride was a mix of reflection and anticipation. Emily gazed out the window, watching the cityscape transform into familiar landscapes. The rhythmic hum of the wheels on the highway became a reassuring melody, carrying her closer to the embrace of her family. Upon reaching her hometown, Emily's heart raced with a blend of excitement and anxiety. The quaint streets that she had once yearned to escape now felt like a haven. With Robert's last dollar, she hired a taxi to take her to the doorstep of her family's home. As she stood on the familiar porch, memories flooded back. The smell of her mother's cooking, the comforting creak of the front door, and the laughter that echoed through the walls. With a deep breath, Emily rang the doorbell. The door swung open, revealing her parents, their eyes widening in disbelief. "Emily, is it you?" her mother exclaimed, tears welling up in her eyes. The joy of their reunion was palpable, and Emily, with tears of her own, rushed into their arms. In the warmth of the embrace, Emily shared the story of her journey, the challenges, the betrayal, and the unexpected kindness of a homeless man named Robert. Her father, with a mix of concern and gratitude, spoke. "You've been through so much, Emily. We're just glad you're home." Days turned into nights, and Emily found solace in the familiarity of her small town. The love and support of her family, once taken for granted, now felt like a precious treasure. While recounting her experiences, Emily found herself talking about the man who had played a pivotal role in her return. "I wouldn't be here without him, Mum, Dad. There was this homeless man, Robert, who gave me his last dollar. He believed in me when I had lost hope. I want to find him and repay his kindness," Emily expressed, her voice filled with gratitude. Now that Emily was back home safe and sound, Robert found himself still entrenched in the harsh reality of his homeless existence. Devoid of any money and facing the looming challenges of another day on the streets, anxiety crept in. Despite the uncertainty of his circumstances, Robert chose to adopt a positive outlook, determined to find hope amid adversity. That night, with an empty stomach and only the cold streets as his companion, Robert lay down to sleep. The harshness of his reality, accentuated by the biting chill, was a stark reminder of the challenges he faced daily. Yet, in the solitude of the night, he clung to the belief that every dawn brought new possibilities. As morning light painted the city in hues of dawn, Robert's hunger led him to a nearby bakery. With resourcefulness and resilience, he managed to secure some leftovers, a modest reprieve from the persistent gnawing in his stomach. The warmth of the bakery's facade provided a fleeting respite from the chill that lingered in the morning air. However, after 2 days, Robert was approached by a woman named Lily. She introduced herself to Robert, expressing her admiration for his selfless gesture. "I saw what you did for that pregnant woman the other night. That was quite a generous gesture, Robert. Can you tell me your story? What brought you to this point?" Robert, appreciating the non-judgmental tone in Lily's voice, opened up about his struggles. "Life's been tough. I try to hold on to whatever kindness I can find. I might not change my situation, but it helps me keep going, you know?" Over a warm cup of coffee at a nearby cafe, Robert shared his journey of homelessness, the challenges he encountered, and the harsh realities of life on the streets. Lily, moved by his resilience and touched by the act of kindness she had witnessed, saw an opportunity to make a difference in Robert's life. Lily was a dedicated local outreach worker who traversed the city streets with purpose and compassion, reaching out to the homeless population in hopes of making a difference. As she walked through the dimly lit alleys, Her path crossed with that of Robert, a homeless man seeking refuge from the biting cold. She observed a pregnant woman named Emily conversing with Robert. Her worn-out appearance and the vulnerability in her eyes tugged at Lily's heartstrings. Despite the harsh circumstances, Robert listened intently as Emily explained her desperate need for money to make her way back home. In the shadows, Lily watched the scene unfold with keen interest. She had encountered countless individuals in need, but there was something unique about this interaction. It wasn't just a request for spare change. It was a genuine moment of connection and empathy. Robert, without a second thought, reached into his tattered pocket and handed Emily his last $1. Lily's eyes widened in surprise and admiration as Emily's face lit up with gratitude. It was a simple act, but at that moment it spoke volumes about Robert's compassion and generosity. Inspired and moved by the selfless act she had witnessed from Robert, Lily felt compelled to take immediate action to change the trajectory of his life. Determined to make a meaningful impact, she pulled out her cell phone and began making calls to local shelters and help centres. "Hi, this is Lily. I just met a man named Robert who's been facing homelessness. He gave his last $1 to help a pregnant woman. His resilience is remarkable, and I truly believe he deserves a chance. Can we find a spot for him tonight?" The staff at the shelters, moved by Lily's passionate plea, recognised the importance of Robert's case. "We'll do our best to accommodate him. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, Lily." With each conversation, Lily passionately explained Robert's situation and the resilience he displayed in the face of adversity. She emphasised not just the need for immediate shelter, but also the potential for positive change that lay within this compassionate individual. "I appreciate your help, but it's not just about a bed. Robert deserves a chance to rebuild his life. Can we connect him with support services and a job training programme?" The staff assured, "Lily, we'll make sure he has access to everything he needs. Your dedication to his well-being is commendable." Lily's heartfelt plea resonated with the staff at the shelters and help centres, prompting them to prioritise Robert's case. Through her tireless efforts, Lily managed to secure a spot for Robert in a local shelter. She coordinated with the staff to ensure that he would not only have a warm bed for the night, but also access to essential services that could assist him in rebuilding his life. Lily's commitment to helping Robert went beyond mere logistics. She wanted to provide him with a supportive environment that would foster personal growth and positive change. As the calls continued, Lily also reached out to organisations that offered job training and employment opportunities for individuals experiencing homelessness. Her goal was to create a comprehensive support network that would address not just the immediate need for shelter and sustenance, but also the long-term goal of helping Robert reintegrate into society with dignity and purpose. The local community, having heard about Robert's compassionate act and Lily's advocacy, joined the effort. Businesses offered job opportunities, residents donated clothing and essentials, and volunteers stepped forward to mentor and guide Robert on his journey toward a brighter future. As Robert made his way to the shelter later that day, he could never have anticipated the depth of transformation that awaited him. All thanks to the dedication and compassion of Lily and the collective goodwill of those who rallied behind him. "I don't know what to say. Thank you, Lily. Thank you for seeing beyond the surface and giving me a chance." Lily, ever compassionate, responded with reassurance. "We're all in this together. Now, let's take small steps each day. There's a community ready to support you." To which Robert replied, "I never thought someone like me could get a second chance. Thank you for believing in me, Lily." Lily reassured him, saying, "You're the one who showed kindness in the darkest times. I'm just here to help you find the light again. We're in this together, Robert." Robert, initially hesitant, but grateful for the unexpected turn of events, accepted the help. By the time Lily concluded her calls, a network of support had been woven around Robert. What started as a simple act of kindness had ignited a community's desire to extend a helping hand. Embracing the opportunity for a fresh start, Robert eagerly participated in the support services offered by the shelter. From counselling sessions to job training programs, he immersed himself in every available resource, driven by a resolute determination to overcome the challenges that had defined his past. As days turned into weeks, Lily continued to be a guiding presence in Robert's life, "You're making incredible progress, Robert. Keep pushing forward," said Lily. Robert, his eyes reflecting a newfound sense of purpose, acknowledged the impact of the support he was receiving.
"I never thought I could have a second chance, but now I want to be a better person. Not just for myself, but for others too."
With Lily's encouragement, Robert explored job opportunities within the community. His willingness to learn and grow didn't go unnoticed, and soon local businesses recognized the potential within him. The employer implied,
"Your dedication is impressive, Robert. We'd like to offer you a job."
Robert, humbled and grateful, accepted the job, making a significant milestone in his journey towards stability.
"Thank you for believing in me. I won't let you down."
As Robert's life continued to evolve, he became an inspiration to others in the community, facing similar challenges. His story resonated, proving that with support and determination one could overcome adversity and create positive change. Robert, now an advocate for those experiencing homelessness, spoke passionately about his journey during community events.
"I was given a chance when I least expected it. It's never too late to change, and I want to help others believe that too."
Lily, witnessing the remarkable transformation in Robert, couldn't have been prouder. "You've come a long way, Robert. Your journey has proved that everyone deserves a chance, and with determination, lives can be changed." Robert's story became a beacon of hope, echoing through the city streets. His determination, coupled with Lily's unwavering support, showcased the profound impact that compassion and opportunity could have on an individual's life. As Robert walked towards a brighter future, he carried with him the belief that every act of kindness, no matter how small, had the power to spark transformative change. Back home, Emily faced the challenges of being a single mother with resilience and determination. As the days turned into weeks and her due date approached, Emily decided to give birth to her baby son at home, surrounded by the warmth of familiar walls. In the quiet hours of the night, with the support of a midwife and the strength she had gathered during her journey, Emily welcomed her son into the world. The soft cries of the newborn echoed in the room, creating a bond between mother and child that would prove unbreakable. With her newborn cradled in her arms, Emily spoke words of love and promise. Emily whispered to her son, "You and me, little one, we're a team. No matter what challenges come our way, we'll face them together." As the days unfolded, Emily found herself juggling the responsibilities of motherhood while navigating the path of single parenthood. Determined to provide a stable life for her son, she set her sights on finding work in the town. "I want to give you the best life I can, sweetheart. Mummy is going to work hard for us." Her commitment led her to secure a job in a local shop, where she would interact with the townsfolk and contribute to the community. The challenges were plentiful, but Emily faced them head-on, driven by a fierce love for her son. "You're doing an amazing job, Emily. Balancing work and motherhood is no easy feat," the co-worker implied. "Thank you. My son deserves the world, and I'll do whatever it takes to provide for him," said Emily. As her son grew, Emily became a familiar face in the town, known not just for her hard work, but also for the love and dedication she poured into raising her child. The townsfolk watched as Emily navigated the ups and downs of single motherhood with grace. Now and then her neighbours reminded her, "You're an inspiration, Emily. Your strength and love for your son are truly admirable." To which she replied, "We all have our stories and struggles. Mine just happened to be a bit different, but every challenge is an opportunity to show my son what resilience looks like." Emily's son thrived under the care of his devoted mother. Emily's journey from the uncertainty of homelessness to the strength and stability she had built for her family became a testament to the power of love and determination. In the heart of the town, Emily's story was a beacon of hope, showing that no matter the circumstances, a single mother's love could forge a path to a bright and promising future. As the years passed, Emily's life in the town unfolded into a mosaic of moments, challenges and triumphs. However, amidst the bustling activities and the daily rhythm of life, there was a corner of her heart that always held space for Robert, the homeless man whose generous act had left an indelible mark on her journey. Emily often found herself reminiscing about that chilly evening, where a chance encounter with Robert had changed the course of her night. His selfless act, giving away his last dollar to a pregnant stranger, became a beacon of kindness in her memory. On quiet evenings, as she tucked her son into bed, Emily would share stories with him, stories of resilience, compassion, and the interconnectedness of humanity. In those narratives, the tale of Robert held a special place. There was once a kind man named Robert. He didn't have much, but he gave away his last dollar to help a woman in need. It taught me that even in the toughest times, there's always room for kindness. Her son, wide-eyed and attentive, absorbed the lessons his mother imparted. Her son asked, "Was that before you had me, Mum?" She replied, "Yes, sweetheart. It was a cold night, and Robert's act of kindness warmed my heart. It's a memory I'll always carry." As her son grew older, Emily continued to weave Robert's story into the fabric of their narrative. She often wondered about his fate, hoping that life had taken a positive turn for him as well. The memory of that encounter served as a reminder of the ripple effect kindness could have on someone's life. One day, as she looked at her son growing into a fine young person, Emily felt an overwhelming desire to express her gratitude to the man who had unknowingly played a role in their lives. She began saving diligently, setting aside a portion of her earnings each month with a singular purpose: to find Robert and thank him. With enough savings and a heart filled with gratitude, Emily decided it was time to embark on a journey to the city. She believed it was there that she might find Robert and discover how his life had unfolded since that impactful night. Upon arriving in the city, Emily retraced the steps of her past, visiting the alleys and corners where she had once encountered Robert. As she navigated the streets, she couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Would she be able to find him? And if so, how had life treated him since that cold night? After inquiring with locals and outreach workers, Emily finally received a lead about a man named Robert who had made positive strides in the community. Hope surged within her as she followed the trail, and eventually she found herself standing before a shelter where Robert was said to be helping at. With a breath of anticipation, Emily entered the shelter. As her eyes scanned the room, they landed on a familiar face. It was Robert, now engaged in various community activities, his life transformed in ways she could not have predicted. Emily, her voice filled with emotion, approached him. "Robert, is that you?" Robert, looking up, met her gaze with a mixture of surprise and recognition.
"Emily, is it really you?"
Emily, tears welling up in her eyes, nodded. "I've been waiting to find you for years, to thank you for that night and to see how you're doing." Robert, a genuine smile spreading across his face, gestured for her to sit beside him.
"I never expected this, Emily. Life has taken unexpected turns, and I've been fortunate to find support and opportunities. How have you been?"
As they exchanged stories, Emily shared the impact of that night on her life and the subsequent journey that led her to the present moment. Robert, in turn, spoke about the positive changes he had experienced thanks to the community support he had received. "I wanted to thank you, Robert. Your kindness that night meant more than you can imagine. It inspired me and shaped the way I approach life and compassion." Robert, touched by her words, responded with gratitude.
"I never knew. I'm just glad to see that life has been kind to you and your son. We all have the power to make a difference, even in the smallest ways."
After the emotional reunion with Robert at the shelter, Emily felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and a deep desire to complete the circle of connection. She believed that introducing her son to the man whose act of kindness had played a role in their lives would be a profound and meaningful experience. The next day, Emily returned to the shelter with her son by her side. As they approached the area where Robert often spent his time, Emily's heart raced with anticipation. She wanted her son to understand the significance of this meeting and to witness firsthand the impact of compassion and the interconnectedness of their lives. Robert, sitting on a bench, looked up as they approached. A warm smile spread across his face, recognizing Emily and sensing the introduction of someone special. "Robert, this is my son," the little one I was carrying that night. Robert's eyes widened with surprise and joy. He stood up, extending a welcoming hand.
"It's incredible to meet you, young man. Your mum here holds a special place in my heart."
Emily's son, curious and respectful, shook hands with Robert, a connection forged across the years. "It's nice to meet you too, Robert. My name is Ethan. Mum has told me about that night and how you helped her." Emily, with a soft smile, watched as the two important people in her life met. "Robert, your kindness that night inspired me in so many ways. I wanted my son to meet the person who played a part in shaping our lives." Robert, humbled by the moment, spoke with sincerity.
"I never imagined our paths would cross again like this. Your mum is a remarkable woman, and you, young man, have an incredible role model."
As they shared stories and laughter, Emily's son gained a deeper understanding of the significance of the encounter. It became a moment etched in their family's narrative, a testament to the enduring impact of compassion, the interconnectedness of lives, and the potential for positive change. "Thank you, Robert. It's amazing how a single act of kindness can create such a connection," said Ethan. Robert, with a twinkle in his eye, responded,
"You're right. We never know how our actions might shape someone else's journey. I'm grateful to have been a small part of yours."
After the unexpected reunion between Emily and Robert at the shelter, a newfound connection began to blossom. With Emily's son in tow, the trio decided to spend a week in the city, creating an opportunity for shared experiences and the weaving of their intertwined narratives. The city, bustling with life and possibilities, became a backdrop for a journey of healing and understanding. As they strolled through the vibrant streets and explored hidden corners, Emily, Robert, and Emily's son forged a bond that transcended the challenges of the past. They spent afternoons in quaint cafes, sipping warm beverages and sharing stories. Emily's son, eager to learn more about the kind stranger who had once helped his mother, listened intently as Robert recounted his journey from homelessness to community activism.
"Your mum showed me that even in the darkest times, kindness can prevail. It changed my life, and I'll always be grateful."
Emily's son, absorbing the lessons embedded in Robert's story, nodded with a newfound appreciation for the strength born out of adversity. The evenings were filled with laughter as they explored city parks, creating memories that would linger in their hearts for years to come. The city lights illuminated their path as they navigated through the labyrinth of alleys, each step symbolic of the progress they had made individually and collectively. Emily, reflecting on the unexpected turn of events, felt a sense of closure and healing. Robert's presence, once a mysterious figure in the shadows, had evolved into a cherished companion on this week-long journey. "I never thought our paths would cross again, Robert, but I'm glad they did." Robert, grateful for the chance to be a part of this chapter, responded with sincerity.
"Life has a way of surprising us. I'm just glad to see you and your son doing well."
As the week unfolded, the trio visited museums, enjoyed local cuisine, and witnessed the city's diverse tapestry. Their conversations delved into dreams, aspirations, and the resilience that had carried them through life's challenges. On the final day of their adventure, they stood on a viewpoint overlooking the city, a symbolic vista that mirrored the newfound clarity and connection in their lives. Emily's son, breaking the momentary silence, spoke with innocence and wisdom beyond his years. "Maybe life is like a city, full of ups and downs, but if you keep walking together, you'll find the best views." The sentiment lingered as they shared a group hug, a culmination of a week that had woven together the threads of their past and present. As they left the city behind, the echoes of shared laughter, shared stories, and shared healing resonated, a testament to the enduring power of compassion and the possibility of forging meaningful connection in the unlikeliest of places. During their week in the city, Emily, Robert, and Emily's son embarked on a series of adventures that not only brought them closer, but also allowed them to create cherished memories together. The week in the city unfolded like a storybook filled with adventures, laughter, and moments of profound connection. As they explored the vibrant streets, Emily, Robert, and Ethan found joy in the simplest of pleasures. One bright morning they stepped into a bustling market where colourful stalls displayed an array of fresh produce and handmade crafts. Ethan, wide-eyed with wonder, marvelled at the variety. "Look at all these fruits, Mum! Can we get some?" Emily, smiling, nodded in agreement, and they left the market with bags full of exotic fruits and handmade trinkets, a tangible reminder of their day. The trio spent an afternoon in a local park where laughter echoed as they shared stories from their lives. The park became a canvas for their tales, with each tree and bench witnessing the blossoming of a newfound friendship.
"I never imagined I'd be sitting in a park sharing stories with you and your son, Emily," to which Emily replied,
"Life is full of surprises, Robert. Sometimes the best moments come when you least expect them." In the heart of the city, they discovered a hidden bookstore, its shelves lined with stories waiting to be explored. Emily's son, drawn to a children's section, excitedly picked out a book. "Mom, can we read this tonight?" Emily, touched by her son's enthusiasm, agreed, and that evening, the city lights provided the backdrop for a heart-warming story time, bridging the past and the present. The adventure continued as they visited a local art gallery, appreciating the beauty captured in brushstrokes and colours. Emily's son, inspired by the artworks, expressed his creativity through doodles in a sketchbook, a tangible reflection of his artistic spirit that infused their journey. Their next day began with a stroll through the cityscape. Tall buildings towered overhead as they wandered through bustling streets, absorbing the energy of the urban landscape. They discovered hidden gems, quirky shops, street performers and cosy cafes. As they sipped coffee, Emily shared anecdotes about her journey, weaving tales of resilience and hope. The trio delved into the city's rich cultural heritage by visiting museums. They marvelled at art installations, historical artefacts, and interactive exhibits. Emily's son, wide-eyed with curiosity, asked questions that sparked insightful conversations. "Mum, did people wear armour like that? It looks heavy." Emily replied, "Yes, they did. Imagine carrying the weight of that history with them." Robert in turn shared snippets of his own experiences, revealing the transformative power of art and history. Their taste buds embarked on a journey of their own as they explored the city's diverse culinary scene. From food trucks serving exotic dishes to family-owned restaurants with generation-old recipes, each meal became a celebration of cultural diversity. Laughter echoed in the air as they sampled flavours from around the world, creating a tapestry of shared experiences.
"I never thought I'd taste flavours from around the world in one city. Food brings people together," said Robert.
On the final day, as they stood on the city's highest viewpoint, the trio reflected on the week that had woven their lives together in unexpected ways. Ethan exclaimed, "This was the best week ever! I wish I could stay here forever!" Emily, looking at Robert with gratitude, echoed the sentiment. "Sometimes the best adventures are the ones we never planned. Thank you for being a part of our story, Robert." Robert, touched by the sentiment, smiled.
"Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Our stories may have started in the shadows, but now they're bathed in the city lights."
The train station was alive with the hustle and bustle of commuters, the air filled with the rhythmic hum of departing and arriving trains. Emily, her son Ethan, and Robert stood on the platform, surrounded by the transient energy of farewells and reunions. The train, sleek and powerful, waited on the tracks, ready to carry passengers to their destinations. The time had come for Emily and Ethan to bid farewell to Robert, the man with whom they had reunited and who entered their lives and left an indelible mark. Emily, a mix of gratitude and sadness in her eyes, spoke with sincerity. "Thank you, Robert. This week has been incredible. You've been a ray of light in our lives." Robert, his expression reflecting both warmth and a hint of wistfulness, nodded.
"The pleasure was mine, Emily. Your resilience and Ethan's spirit have been a source of inspiration."
Ethan, looking up at Robert with admiration, expressed his thoughts. "You're the coolest person, Robert. I hope we meet again." Robert, kneeling to Ethan's eye level, ruffled his hair with a gentle smile.
"I hope so too, Ethan. You take care of your mum, all right?"
As the train's departure announcement echoed through the station, the trio shared a group hug, a silent acknowledgement of the bond forged during their week-long adventure. "We'll never forget this, Robert. You've been a part of our story and we're grateful for that," said Emily. The train doors slid open, revealing the inviting interior with rows of seats and large windows framing the world outside. Emily and Ethan stepped onto the train, turning around for a final wave.
"Safe travels, Emily and Ethan. Remember, you're stronger than you think."
As the train began to glide away from the platform, Emily, Ethan and Robert exchanged one last heartfelt wave. The connection forged in the city, a chapter of shared stories and newfound kinship lingered in the air even as the train carried them toward the horizon. The station, with its transient crowds and echoing announcements, bore witness to a moment of departure that held the promise of future reunions. As the train faded into the distance, Emily, Ethan and Robert carried the echoes of shared adventures and the magic of unexpected connections in their hearts. As Robert continued his journey of rebuilding his life, he found himself actively involved in helping at local shelters. It was during one of his volunteering shifts that he came across a man with a familiar name that sent a shiver down his spine. Jake, the man who had betrayed Emily and stolen all her money. Time had not been kind to Jake, evident in the haggard appearance and wearied expression that now marked his face. Robert, observing Jake, felt a mix of conflicting emotions: anger, empathy, and a profound desire to understand how life had led him to Robert, choosing to set aside his initial reaction, observing Jake's current state, a stark contrast to the man who had carelessly taken advantage of Emily years ago.
"Are you Jake? How did you end up here?"
Jake, avoiding eye contact, hesitated before speaking.
Do I know you? That doesn't matter. Life took a turn for the worst after everything that happened. I lost my job, my everything, and could not keep up with the loans."
Robert, despite knowing what he had done, couldn't ignore the desperation and hardship in Jake's voice.
"I heard you did something terrible to a woman named Emily. Stole all her money. Do you have any idea what you put her through?"
Jake, with a heavy sigh, finally made eye contact.
"I messed up, Robert. I messed up big time. I've been praying for it ever since."
Jake shared his story, which made it evident that he too had faced struggles and challenges. The consequences of his actions had left him in a dire situation, seeking refuge in the same shelters where Robert now volunteered. Robert, torn between resentment and a newfound understanding, spoke with a mix of sternness and empathy. As Jake opened up to Robert in the confines of the shelter, he revealed the painful chain of events that followed his betrayal of Emily. After callously stealing her money instead of using it to escape the mounting troubles, Jake made choices that plunged him even deeper into a cycle of hardship.
"Robert, I messed up big time after taking Emily's money. Instead of using it to get out of trouble, I made things worse. I thought I could turn things around. I only dug myself into a deeper hole."
With a sense of remorse, Jake explained that the stolen funds were squandered on vices and risky endeavours. The misguided belief that he could quickly recover his losses led him down a path of self-destruction.
"I thought I could double the money and make everything right, but it all went downhill. Bad decisions, debts, and more trouble than I could handle."
As the consequences of his actions snowballed, Jake found himself entangled in a web of debt, addiction, and strained relationships. The consequences of betraying Emily had not only damaged his own life, but had created a ripple effect that engulfed him in a relentless storm.
"The people I owed money to, they weren't forgiving. I lost my job. My family couldn't bear to be around me anymore. I ended up on the streets with nowhere to turn."
The remorse in Jake's voice was palpable as he recounted the series of poor choices that had led to his homelessness. His tale was one of regret, a cautionary narrative about the destructive power of greed, and a stark reminder of how a single selfish act could unravel an entire life.
"I wish I could go back and undo what I did to Emily. I'm paying for it every day. Maybe if I had used that money wisely, things would be different."
Robert, while grappling with his own mixed emotions, couldn't help but recognise the gravity of Jake's self-inflicted wounds. The encounter served as a sobering reminder that actions, no matter how seemingly insignificant, could have far-reaching consequences. A lesson etched in the parallel stories of two individuals whose paths had once crossed in a moment of betrayal and kindness.
"What you did to Emily was unforgivable. But it seems like life has dealt its brand of justice. You have a chance to change, to make amends, said Robert.
Jake, swallowing his pride, nodded in acknowledgement.
I know, I've hit rock bottom. Maybe it's time for me to turn things around.
Robert, guided by the principles of compassion he had learnt over the years, extended a cautious hand.
It won't be easy, Jake, but there's help available here. Take the opportunity to rebuild your life and maybe, just maybe, find a way to make things right.
As Jake bared the weight of his regret and the consequences of his past actions to Robert in the shelter, a moment of introspection took hold. The weight of Emily's memory loomed large in the conversation, a spectre of remorse that Jake couldn't ignore. Jake, looking at the floor as if contemplating the gravity of his past, finally spoke up.
Robert, I can't shake off the guilt of what I did to Emily. I know it's a lot to ask, but how is she doing? Is she okay?
Robert, still harbouring a mix of resentment and empathy, observed Jake's genuine concern for the woman he had wronged.
She's moved on, Jake. Built a life for herself and her son. It wasn't easy, but she found strength amid hardship.
Jake, with a heavy sigh, absorbed the news, a mixture of relief and lingering remorse evident in his expression.
Oh, I messed up big time. I never should have done what I did. I can't change the past, but I want her to know how sorry I am.
Robert, recognising the sincerity in Jake's words, offered a cautious response.
Actions speak louder than words, Jake. If you're serious about making amends, focus on rebuilding your own life first. Maybe one day you can find a way to make things right.
Jake, nodding in agreement, understood the magnitude of the damage he had caused and the uphill battle that lay ahead.
I've got a long road ahead of me, but hearing that she's doing okay gives me some peace. Maybe one day I can find a way to make things right.
As Jake grappled with the consequences of his actions, the spectre of Emily's memory lingered, serving as a reminder that the road of redemption was a journey fraught with challenges, self-reflection, and the genuine commitment to change. Months later, the lives of Emily, Robert, Lily, and even Jake had taken unexpected turns, each finding a path towards positivity and redemption. Inspired by the kindness he had witnessed, Jake had a change of heart. Motivated by the desire to make amends, he initiated community projects aimed at helping those in need. The very same determination that once drove him to exploit others was now channeled into initiatives that provided shelter, food, and job opportunities for the less fortunate.
I've realised the impact we can have on each other's lives. It's never too late to change and do some good.
Lily, the outreach worker who had witnessed Robert's act of kindness, continued to be a beacon of compassion in the community. Her tireless efforts to connect people with resources, support, and opportunities had a ripple effect, transforming the lives of many. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, have the power to create a lasting change. We all play a part in each other's stories. Robert, guided by Lily's support, found stability and purpose. He not only secured a steady job, but also became actively involved in community projects. His story, from homelessness to community advocacy, inspired others to believe in the possibility of change.
Sometimes all it takes is a spark of kindness to ignite a whole new journey. I want to pay it forward and be that spark for others.
As for Emily and her son Ethan, the memories of their week in the city with Robert remained a cherished chapter in their lives. The city lights and shared adventures had left an imprint on their hearts, shaping their perspectives on resilience and compassion. Emily, now a symbol of strength and grace, had even started a small business, contributing not only to her livelihood but also creating job opportunities for others in the community. Our stories are intertwined, and every act of kindness has a lasting impact. I want to be a part of creating a community where everyone has a chance.